Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, as I said in my Ugly Dolls blog, the year 2019 was pretty much the year of toy films. And aside from said Ugly Dolls, we had Woody and Buzz return in Toy Story 4, we've had 2 toy-related horror movies, and we had a Lego sequel. However, before 2019 came to a close, we also got another animated toy movie that got released to the big screen. But is it worth checking out despite the constant negativity that it received over the past few months? Well, let's take a look, shall we? Released in the United States on December 6, 2019, the movie is Playmobil the Movie. So, let's get this adventure started. Marla and her little brother Charlie find themselves magically transported to the fantastical world of Playmobil. While there, they encounter robots, Vikings, knights, pirates, and other colorful, amusing characters. But when Charlie winds up in the clutches of the evil Emperor Maximus, Marla joins forces with a bumbling secret agent and an adventurous truck driver to rescue her beloved sibling. So, what do I think of the movie? Well, to be perfectly honest, I was kind of skeptical when I found out about it before 2019 started, but after seeing the trailer on YouTube, I began to get interested, and after watching the movie, both on Kim Cartoon and in theaters, it was actually a pretty fun movie. No, I'm not joking. But unfortunately, due to its poor opening weekend, the movie became a box office bomb. But let's move on to Mustang notes. An animated feature film based on Playmobil figurines produced by On Entertainment, Wild Bunch, and Pathé was announced in November of 2014 and originally expected to be released at the end of 2017. The film originally involved Bob Persichetti as director and screenwriter, and the film would also be the first in a trilogy of theatrical animated films based on Playmobil. Persichetti initially pitched the film to Sony Pictures Animation. Although Sony tried to buy the pitch, it fell through. He eventually offered instead to direct the 2018 superhero film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The film was animated in On Animation's Canadian faculties, and it was also originally supposed to be distributed by Cross Creek Features. On Animation's producers acquired the rights for the movie circa January 2016. On February 9, 2016, Lino DeSalvo came on board to direct the $75 million budgeted film, replacing Persichetti, with this movie being Lino's directorial debut after spending 17 years as an animator at Walt Disney Animation Studios. Dimitri Rossum and Anton Samash of On Animation Studios came on board to produce the film, along with Alexis Von Erb, Axel von Madel, and Moritz Bormann. The movie was animated using Autodesk Maya, with an animation team which consisted of 56 animators, was supervised by Julian Boccabelli. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. With the movie being a story about wish fulfillment, the scale was one of the biggest priorities. According to production designer Remy Salmon, they saw those toys from a kid's eyes, not what he had in front of him, but what he imagines. The animator's biggest challenges came in the set designs and the character animation. While each Playmobil universe varied in tone and lighting due to their differing styles, they had to have some consistencies with the Playmobil world. In my opinion, the Playmobil world is very creative and breathtaking, though it is kind of reminiscent to the cartoon Wasteland from Epic Mickey. And I do like the different locations that Marla goes through on her quest to find her brother, like a western town, a dinosaur jungle, a futuristic city, a fairy tale kingdom, and a Roman-styled island. Plus, the Playmobil characters look great too. While they are mostly animated in 3D, their faces are animated in 2D. As for the movie's story, well, it is kind of familiar. Though I do like the adventure plot, and I do like the live action sequences at the beginning and at the end of the film, which does make me think back to films like The Phantom Toll Booth and The Pagemaster. However, I think the only downside about this movie was its marketing, which is a shame since I think the people who made this movie do have potential. Heck, the director of this movie is a former Disney animator, so you know that this movie shows promise. Also, what surprised me about this movie is that it's surprisingly a musical. And in my opinion, while they're not up to snuff with songs from Frozen 2 or Ugly Dolls, I find these songs to be pretty underrated. First, there's So Much World, sung by Marla. And this is the only song in the movie performed in the live action sequence. And this has got to be my favorite song in the entire movie, especially after seeing this movie on Kim Cartoon not long before I left America for my European vacation last summer. And I do like the song's adventurous message, and when Marla tells Charlie about her goals and mentions different destinations. Next is the Viking song, Brothers in Arms, sung by Charlie and a tribe of Vikings while they honor their new brother, whom they name Charles the Destroyer. To me, this song has a very rustic feel to it, and I think Charlie's singing is really adventurous. Then there's the pirate song, For the Love of Gold, sung by a pirate named Bloodbones. To me, this is an okay pirate song, despite the fact that it's pretty short, due to Bloodbones' plank flattening him. But at least the soundtrack has a longer version. So now that we got Mustang notes out of the way, let's move on to the characters and their voice actors. Our main character, Marla Brenner, is played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who got to be in such stinkers like The Witch and Glass. Though I am kind of interested in what she'll be doing in the new Mutants movie. According to director Lino DeSalvo, he cast Anya Taylor-Joy for the texture of her voice, and he described her performance as believable and emotional. In my opinion, anyway, Marla is a very relatable character. Sure, she started out free-spirited with a passion for adventure and a dream to explore the world with her brother Charlie, but after the death of her parents, Marla becomes responsible and overprotective. However, during her journey in the Playmobil world, she slowly starts to reconnect with her courageous self again. Next is Marla's little brother, Charlie, played by Gabriel Bateman, who got to be in the first Annabelle film and the Child's Play remake. To me, Charlie is an imaginative and a curious 10-year-old boy. But after the death of his parents, he becomes lonely and disconnected from Marla. While he's in the Playmobil world in the form of a Viking, he gains incredible strength. And while he's held hostage in Constantinople, Charlie learns what it means to be responsible for something greater than himself and how to be a true hero. Next we come to our first supporting character, Dell, a food truck driver voiced by Jim Gaffigan, who did voice Abraham Van Helsing in Hotel Transylvania 3. In my opinion, Dell is the kind of character who lives life playfully, and he does whatever he pleases. While Dell has several side jobs and a debt to pay to Glenara, he's always looking for his next big thing. Thankfully, Marla helped him realize that cooking is his true call due to it being his biggest talent and passion. Next is Robotatron, a robot employed by an alien crime lord named Glenara, vocalized by director Lino DeSalvo. To me, Robotatron is pretty similar to R2-D2 from the Star Wars franchise, and he's my favorite character in the movie. Robotatron became an ally to Marla after she helped him up, which left him smitten with her. One of my favorite scenes is when Robotatron saves Marla and Dell by hacking into his mistress's portal. Next we have Agent Rex Dasher, voiced by Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe. Rex is a daring, charismatic, and charming secret agent who helps Marla, and he's another one of my favorite characters in this movie, mostly due to Daniel Radcliffe's acting. Plus, his theme song is really hardcore. Rex is a master of disguise, and he has no fear of danger. Plus, he lives a carefree life with his technical gadgets, tailored suits, and his cool Porsche Mission E. Also, Rex Dasher is the envy of everybody that he meets. Next we come to the movie's villain, Emperor Maximus, the tyrannical ruler of Constantinople, voiced by singer and songwriter Adam Lambert, who got to be a truck driver in Bohemian Rhapsody. This character is a self-serving kind of guy, and, like a brat, he thinks that he's entitled to anything that his heart desires. Maximus controls his subjects by distracting them with spectacular Roman-styled arena games, where he unleashes ferocious monsters against fearsome warriors. In my opinion, Maximus is really over the top when performing his song number, which was Adam Lambert's favorite part about working on this movie. And his kingdom of Constantinople kind of makes me think of the Vatican due to how fortified it is. Another character to talk about is the fairy godmother, voiced by Meghan Trainor, who previously voiced Smurf Melody in Smurfs the Lost Village. Fairy Godmother is a character who Marla, along with Robotitron, encountered in the forest. Fun fact, it was Meghan Trainor's childhood dream to play a fairy character, but also a very difficult task. According to Meghan, she's never smiled so hard in her life, and she was jumping up and down. Trainor's involvement in Playmobil the movie began while writing her song number, Run Like the River, for her album, Treat Myself. A week later, after someone told her that her song should be in the movie, Meghan presented it to director DeSalvo, and it really blew his mind. Anyway, I think Fairy Godmother is a sweet and a colorful character, and it's all thanks to her that Marla regains her adventurous side. Plus, she gives Marla a magic tapestry to transport her to Constantinopolis. Other actors in the movie include Kenan Thompson, Maddie Taylor, Kirk Thornton, Dan Navarro, and Paloma Michelle. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, Playmobil the movie is a fun film for the whole family. And I think it's a lot better than those Lego movies. But unfortunately, it's not the best movie of 2019, but trust me, Angry Birds 2 was the real worst movie of that year. The animation is pretty good. The main character, Marla, was pretty relatable and adventurous. Her brother, Charlie, was very curious and imaginative. The side characters, Dell, Robotitron, Fairy Godmother, and Rex Dasher, are also memorable characters in my opinion. And the villain, Maximus, despite a tad flamboyant and weird, was a real tyrannical character. Plus, the Playmobil world is really creative, and several of the songs were nice to listen to. And while the plot may be a tad cliched and predictable, I still think it's another movie that you should see with your children. So, my rating for this movie will be a 79% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me again for my next blog. Mustang Power.